New details emerging about a popular teen who opened fire in his high school cafeteria today. As the sound of gunshots rang out, his peers fled in terror. He killed one student and injured 4 others before turning the gun on himself. So what made a homecoming prince into a cold-blooded killer? ABC's Neil Karlinski is on the scene with the latest.
It's happened again, those all too familiar images of children running for their lives from what should be a place of safety, their school. This time, Marysville Pilchuck High, north of Seattle.
It's got information of a possible shooting at the high school in the cafeteria.
Early this morning, the first call comes into 911 from someone inside the school, a now sickeningly familiar alert.
Put it out as an active shooter for now.
There was 5 to 6 shots. I counted 5, but I think there was 6.
Emergency responders who had just practiced a drill for something like this week quickly swarmed the area.
Get another gurney up here. We got one more red coming down.
Police with guns drawn sweeping inside, checking locked doors. Minutes later, the shooter is reported dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
The shooter is down.
Another student is also dead, and 4 others injured, including 3 shot in the head and listed in critical condition. All of them shot inside the school cafeteria.
4 shots went off, and I thought it was firecrackers, and then everyone started ducking under the tables, and then 3 more went off, and everyone started screaming, "Run, it's a gun!"
When I fell over, I got up, and there's just someone laying on the ground.
This boy lifts his shirt to show us where a bullet grazed his back.
I heard gunshots, and it must have ricocheted off something and hit me.
And I heard the fire alarm go off, and everyone ran in our class, and I heard some gunshots.
You heard the shots? Soon, terrified parents begin flooding the area, a nearby church set aside for kids to be taken by school bus and reunited.
We're lucky. We get to take her home tonight.
This shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen to our kids and our grandkids.
She called me right away, so I didn't have to worry for too long. Thank God. I can't imagine the parents that hadn't heard from their kids that were standing over there.
The scene here is surreal. You see parents emotional, reuniting with emotional kids everywhere you look. You can see the school buses here that have taken the kids from the school to this church, and it's just one huge mass of desperate parents trying to find their kids.
Somebody just telling us that someone has a gun, and so we just ran into a classroom.
The alleged shooter, not an outcast or a loner, but this year's freshman homecoming prince, identified tonight as Jalen Freiberg, a football player and popular student. One of his friends told us he had just returned to school after reportedly being suspended for a fight.
I never thought he would do this. I see him every day.
Was he mad about something?
No, he was fine.
Can you make any sense of this? I mean, you know him.
I don't know, I have no clue, because he was fine the day before. He was being sassy as always and good.
Another friend says he spoke to Jalen earlier today.
From what I heard, there was a couple of bullying incidents that had happened where some people had said some stuff about him in a class.
So what could have set him off? Twitter offers some clues. Jalen writing yesterday morning, "It won't last. It'll never last." He seemed to be upset earlier in the week, tweeting, "I should have listened. You were right. The whole time you were right." And it breaks me. It actually does. I know it seems like I'm sweating it off, but I'm not, and I never will be able to. And on Instagram, this photo, Jalen and his birthday present, a gun, though not believed to be the murder weapon.
There is no profile, except that they're almost always boys, and almost always they have felt some degree of sense of either failure or loss.
Dave Cullen, who has written extensively about school shooters, says the repeat pattern in so many of them is depression.
If we can attack that problem and solve those kids and bring them out of depression, we will cure the problem, get rid of the problem before it ever gets to the point of a gun.
School shootings have become painfully routine across the country. This year alone, more than 13 school or campus-related shootings. Tonight, the shooter's family is keeping to themselves, but the chairman of the Native American tribe that they belong to had this to say.
Sadly, we now experience what has become a national trend. And we as a society must address this issue.
In Marysville, Washington tonight, the school's championship football game canceled. The school district has announced plans to close school for all of next week.
Lord, we pray for the families, God, who have lost loved ones, God, that you would comfort them tonight.
And at a church in town just hours ago, a community came together to show their support for 3 young victims fighting for their lives, for the families who've lost so much, and to try to understand something that makes no sense. I'm Neil Karlinski for Nightline in Marysville, Washington.